July 20th, 1944. The capital of the Reich is boiling with panic. Panicked soldiers sprint past civilians. Rumors swirl like smoke. No one knows who is in charge. In the middle of this storm stands a 31-year-old officer, Major Otto Ernst Remer, commander of the Guard Battalion Grossdeutschland, young, fearless, loyal to the core. He receives a shocking order. Arrest the propaganda minister. Arrest Joseph Goebbels immediately. Remer chambers a round into his pistol. His armoured column pushes toward the Ministry of Propaganda. He thinks he's saving Germany. But in 10 minutes, a single phone call will flip the entire war. A few hours earlier in Wolf's Lair, Hitler's heavily armoured headquarters inside the forests of East Prussia. Colonel Claus von Stauffenberg quietly places a briefcase under the oak conference table, right next to Hitler. He steps away. Nervous eyes, fingers trembling as he reaches for the door. 30 seconds later, boom! A violent blast tears the hut apart. The shockwave rips doors from hinges. Windows explode outward like shrapnel. Men are thrown like dolls across the floor. Through the dust, a figure crawls out. Adolf Hitler, staggering, ears bleeding, uniform shredded. His trousers are ripped open and burned, his hair singed, hands trembling as aides drag him upright, but he is alive. Stauffenberg, already escaping in a car, glances behind him. He is convinced nobody could survive that blast. He boards a plane to Berlin, and from the air he calls his co-conspirators. Hitler is dead. I saw him die with my own eyes. Operation Valkyrie begins now. The lie spreads like wildfire. Teleprinters hammer across Berlin. The Führer has fallen. SS units are attempting to seize power. This wasn't chaos. It was strategy. The conspirators had rewritten Operation Valkyrie, a contingency plan originally meant to protect the Reich if the SS ever tried to overthrow the government. So they activated it, and they blamed the SS. Their plan was brutal and precise. Accuse the SS of murdering Hitler. Mobilize the reserve army to defend the state. Use those troops to arrest the Nazi leadership before the truth comes out. For this, they needed the strongest unit in Berlin, the Guard Battalion Grossdeutschland, commanded by Major Otto Remer. So the order went out, signed and delivered by General Paul von Haase, military commander of Berlin, and secretly one of the conspirators. His command was simple: arrest Joseph Goebbels, secure the government district, crush the SS coup. Remer moved instantly, completely convinced he was saving the Reich. He had no idea he was being played by traitors. Remer's battalion is no ordinary force. This is the Guard Battalion Grossdeutschland, the most elite military formation inside Berlin. You could call it Berlin's private army. To enter this battalion, you had to meet brutal standards. You had to be tall, athletic, physically imposing, and proven battle-hardened on real front lines. Only the strongest and the bravest warriors were allowed in. Major Otto Ernst Remer himself was a towering 6 feet 4 inches. A frontline beast of a man, forged in blood and fire, decorated with the Iron Cross Second Class, the Iron Cross First Class, and the coveted Knight's Cross, with oak leaves for acts of extreme bravery under fire. This was an army led by a warrior, not a desk officer. In 1944, Germany's best troops were dying in Russia and France. Berlin was almost empty of real soldiers, filled only with clerks, old men, and wounded veterans. Only one true combat-ready unit remained inside the capital, the Guard Battalion Grossdeutschland. Whoever controls this battalion controls Berlin, and whoever controls Berlin controls Germany. This battalion wasn't SS, it belonged to the regular army, and because Remer was an army major, the conspirators believed they could use him. He was one of their own. They thought they could control him. They thought he would follow orders blindly. The fate of the Third Reich now balances on the decisions of one confused major. Remer storms into the Ministry of Propaganda. Armed troops flood the hallways. Doors slam open. Inside his office, Joseph Goebbels stands perfectly still, hands behind his back, eyes cold, fearless. Remer raises his pistol. "The Führer is dead. I have orders to arrest you." Goebbels slowly reaches into his pocket and pulls out a small glass capsule, a cyanide pill, glinting under the light. He holds it between two fingers. "If you arrest me, Major, I will swallow this right now. Do you want to explain my death to the German people? Do you want to take responsibility for killing a Reich minister?" Remer freezes. His throat tightens. One wrong move and Goebbels is dead on the floor. A martyr. And Remer will be remembered as the officer who murdered one of Hitler's closest ministers. Goebbels steps closer, voice steady and piercing. "Major Remer, remember your oath to the Führer." Remer stumbles for words, still shaken. "My loyalty is to Hitler and to the Reich, but the Führer is dead." Goebbels slams the pill back into his pocket. "The Führer is alive," he snaps. "I spoke to him only a few minutes ago." Remer is visibly wavering, his hands tremble, his mind races. If Goebbels is lying, Remer is participating in treason. If Goebbels is telling the truth, Remer is about to arrest an innocent minister. He needs proof. He needs certainty. And Goebbels knows exactly what to do. Goebbels reaches for the telephone. He dials the Wolf's Lair. He hands the receiver to Remer. "Speak to him yourself." Remer presses the phone to his ear. A crackle, a pause, then the voice. "Major Remer." Remer stiffens. "My Führer, is that you?" Hitler's tone is sharp, commanding. "Do you recognize my voice?" Remer's spine straightens, as if struck by lightning. "Jawohl, mein Führer, I do." Hitler continues, furious, breath ragged from the blast. "Do you hear me? I am alive. The attempt has failed. A tiny clique of ambitious officers tried to destroy me, but now we have saboteurs to deal with in Berlin." Remer's breathing stops. His doubt evaporates in an instant. Hitler gives the order. "You are commissioned to restore calm and security in the capital, by force if necessary. You are under my personal command until the Reichsführer SS arrives in Berlin." And right there on the phone, Hitler promotes him on the spot, from major to colonel. Every muscle in Remer's body locks into place. He snaps his heels together, salutes the telephone. "Jawohl, mein Führer, as you order." The switch is complete. Seconds ago, he nearly arrested Goebbels. Now, he is ready to die for him. Remer rushes back outside. He shouts to his battalion, "The Führer is alive! We have been deceived!" The tanks swing around. The Guard Battalion turns its guns on the conspirators. Headquarters buildings fall one by one. General von Haase is arrested. Stauffenberg and his co-plotters are captured and executed before sunrise. The coup is dead, crushed within hours. And all because one man, Major Otto Remer, who heard a voice on a telephone, a voice that changed world history. After the failure of Operation Valkyrie, Otto Remer went from being a little-known officer to a widely recognized figure in Nazi Germany. For several days, he became the centerpiece of state propaganda and public attention. On January 30th, 1945, Remer was promoted to Major General, making him one of the youngest generals in the German army during the war. But the war was already lost. Remer's division was sent to the Eastern Front to prevent Soviet advances. His division was crushed by the Soviets. Remer escaped the Soviet encirclement by disguising himself as a civilian, and he later surrendered to American forces along with what remained of his men. After World War II, Remer was held in British custody until 1947. Upon his release, he became involved in far-right politics in West Germany. He joined the Community of Independent Germans, and later, in 1949, the German Right Party, though he was soon expelled. In 1950, he founded the Socialist Reich Party, which was banned by the West German government in 1952 because of Holocaust-denying speeches and extremist ideology. Following the ban, Remer was charged with trying to rebuild a neo-Nazi movement and was sentenced to 3 years in prison. He avoided imprisonment by fleeing Germany. After escaping, he worked for several years in the Middle East as a military advisor to Egyptian President Gamal Abdel Nasser. He helped build an army to fight Israel. Even after the Third Reich was dead, Remer was still fighting its enemies. Remer returned to West Germany in the 1980s, where he again engaged in extremist politics by creating the German Liberation Movement, another neo-Nazi organization aimed at recruiting and influencing younger supporters. In 1991, he began publishing a newsletter called Remer Dispatch, promoting his ideological beliefs. In 1992, he was again sentenced, this time to 22 months in prison, for public Holocaust denial and incitement. Remer filed multiple appeals against the conviction, but all were rejected. In February 1994, after exhausting every legal option, he escaped to Spain to avoid imprisonment. From Spain, he continued supporting international networks that denied the Holocaust. The Spanish High Court refused Germany's request to extradite him, stating that his actions did not constitute a crime under Spanish law. Otto Ernst Remer died on October 4, 1997 in Marbella, Spain. History doesn't repeat, it hides. Subscribe to Roger History because the next story might be one you'll wish you hadn't missed.